What's up everybody, welcome to Money Management channel. My name is Andrei and today I'm gonna be doing an update on MMTLP and FINRA saga.
I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed, born a rock star in this life, gonna live it up.
And for today's video, guys, I have several quite interesting news. First of all, I will remind you one of the speeches of Donald Trump in regards to the naked short sellers and the naked short positions in general. On top of that, I will show you updates in two lawsuits that are related to the MMTLP saga. And at the end of this video, I will show you that Esther Pierce is contradicting herself. And I have to admit that it is quite weird behavior. So, and before we dive deep into all of this, guys, please hit the like button for YouTube algorithm and drop me a line in the comment section if you think my videos are valuable for you. So, let's start with this news. Junk Savvy wrote this tweet and she reposted the tweet that was written by Joe Alerts. And she wrote, "Listen, and here's the direct speech from Donald Trump. Shorts are working very hard, but shorts can get hurt very badly." And I have to admit that I remember this video. Donald Trump said this phrase about a year ago or maybe 8 months ago. And let me quote you further. "Maybe we are going to expose something that is bigger than what we imagined." And this phrase belongs to Devin Nunes, the CEO of TMTG. And I have to admit that, yes, Donald Trump is aware of the situation of naked shorting, but guys, he said it at least 6 months before the election results. And guys, we have to wait for the next steps of the new president office in order to see this type of resolution. And guys, Meta News also published this tweet, but Meta News wrote, "Just in, Donald Trump states short sellers can get hurt very badly during his speech." And guys, I have to admit that it is a little bit misleading information. It is not just in. It was said at least 8 months ago. And that is why, guys, in my yesterday's video I showed you that we have to double check all the facts that we are trying to use in our case, and that is why, guys, please be cautious because of this update. On top of that, I want to show you an update in regards to the case SEC versus John Burda and George Palikoros. And Junk Savvy wrote this: "SEC versus John Burda and George Palikoros. Judge grants motion for change of venue. Case sent to United States District Court for the Eastern District of Texas." And guys, I have to say that it is quite a long document of 27 pages. I didn't read it entirely because I don't have an access behind the paywall, but the conclusion is following. For the reasons set forth above, the court grants defendants motion to transfer this case to the Eastern District of Texas. The clerk of court is directed to terminate the pending motions at dockets entries 17 and 22. The clerk of court is further directed to transfer this case in its entirety to the United States District Court for the Eastern District of Texas." And guys, the only thing how it can help us to see the resolution at this very case is the following. Platinum wrote this: "Texas court might be quicker to get to a resolution." And she refers to the part of this document that I just showed you. And it says, "Defendants have submitted statistics demonstrating that the median time from commencement of an action to trial in the Eastern District of Texas was 21.1 months compared to 61.5 months in this district." And I don't know what else should I say, and I have to admit that this court in general is related to the potential allegations of SEC for John Burda, Meta Materials and George Palikoros in regards to their actions that happened back in 2021 on the merger date of TRCH and Meta Materials, and then on a spin-off that happened in 2022. At the same time, guys, unfortunately, we don't have any other updates from, for example, Scott Trott lawsuit, but we have a quite interesting update that is related to the class action lawsuit Target versus Next Bridge Hydrocarbons. And we have a new response that was filed by plaintiffs, and I want to pay attention to this paragraph. It is Section D. NBH's officers and directors are subject to control person liability. And guys, let me pay attention to this sentence. McCabe, meanwhile, controlled NBH's ONG assets at all relevant times, thereby giving him power to control the company. Not to mention, he also owned 27.4% of NBH's stock and assumed the positions of chairman and CEO after the spin-off. These allegations suffice for establishing control person liability. And defendants tried to shift the blame into metamaterials executives. However, their argument is contradicted by the registration statement, which explains that NBH was at all relevant times prior to the spin-off operated by or through companies owned and or controlled by McCabe, Torchlight Energy, Hudspeth Oil Corporation, Torchlight Hazel, Hudspeth Operating. Consequently, defendants have no basis for accusing metamaterials' executives of being responsible for a day-to-day operations and control of NBH's business. And guys, it is quite interesting statement, and let me remind you that it is not the sure thing. It is just a response that was filed by plaintiff in this class action lawsuit. But definitely, depending on the decision that will be made by the judge, we might see a complete switch of focus from John Burda, George Parkhurst to Greg McCabe. And guys, I have to say that it is quite interesting to see that we have this shift of focus. And first of all, I want to remind you that Scott Trott asked a bunch of questions to Greg McCabe and he didn't answer. And it was quite interesting situation where Scott asked these questions, but a lot of community members don't want to see these allegations and don't want to find the truth inside the Next Bridge Hydrocarbons itself. And guys, in Russia we have quite interesting statement that you will not find the keys that you lost in a dark corner of the street if you try to search it under the light. And it is quite interesting statement that pretty much explains the current situation. A lot of people from MMTLP community want to see the wrongdoers on the side of authorities, on the side of naked shorters, broker-dealers, etc. But they don't want to see the problem inside the company itself. And guys, you know that I'm completely unbiased, and I don't have any shares of MMTLP and never had. And that is why, guys, my main goal right here is to show you the current status of this case. And that is why, guys, I'm working hard to do it. And like it or not, I will continue to do it. And if the investigation will lead us to the NBH's office and will lead us to Greg McCabe in particular, so be it. We have to see the resolution, and I want to help you to receive remedies for the damages that basically hurt a lot of people. And that is why I am doing these videos, and that is why, guys, I want to see your support in the comment section, and just click the like button if you don't want to make any comments. On top of that, I want to pay attention to the next news, and Christian Shaughnessy reposted the tweet that was written by Johnny Tobacco just 15 hours ago. And Johnny Tobacco wrote, "Read this, Doge. Hey, Vivek and Elon, wanna get rid of manipulative short sellers and have free and efficient free markets? See SEC on paper. This ends the scam in weeks." And guys, it is quite interesting memorandum. Let me show you this in details. As you can see, if you click on this link, you will find this document, and it was written on January 14th of 2009. and it was written by Office of Economic Analysis, and it is related to the analysis of the July emergency order requiring a pre-borrow on short sales. And guys, let me quote you this in details. This memo summarizes the result of a study conducted by the Office of Economic Analysis on the effects of the Commission's emergency order of July 15, 2008. The order imposed temporary rules affecting short selling in the stocks of 19 issuers, effective from July 21, 2008 to August 12, 2008. The goal of this analysis was to evaluate the impact of the emergency order, to understand the potential economic trade-offs of a pre-borrow requirement, such as the one in the emergency order. To address these questions, we examined how various metrics hypothesized to be affected by the emergency order have evolved over time for the sample of stocks subject to the emergency order. We compared the experience of these stocks to that of two control samples that were not subject to the emergency order. One control sample was composed of other financial stocks, and the other was composed of large non-financial control stocks. It is important to emphasize at this point that the emergency order was in effect for only 17 trading days, making it difficult to draw strong conclusions for some of our measures. Our results suggest that imposing a pre-borrow requirement may have had the intended effect of reducing fails, but may have resulted in significant costs on all short sellers, even those whose actions were not related to fails. Specifically, our analysis indicated that compared to stocks in the control samples, stocks subject to the emergency order experienced, and here is the list of the conclusions: large and statistically significant decrease in short selling volume, a dramatic but temporary initial increase in stock lending rates followed by rates still higher than before the order. Next one, large and significant decreases in fails to deliver. Next one, little change in short interest. Next one, no significant changes in bid-ask spread or market depth. Next one, no significant migration of trading volume to London for cross-listed securities. Next one, no significant changes in option trading volume or open interest. And next one, no significant changes in volume. And guys, I have to say that it is some kind of miracle with this implementation of pre-borrow rule on short sales will lead to these very impressive results. And it is very easy to achieve. And as you can see, let me remind you that this memorandum was written on January 14th of 2009, more than 15 years ago. SEC had this information and had these results. And why didn't they implement this? I don't know. Basically, I have some thoughts about it, but we know that the short sellers and naked short sellers have a huge impact on SEC and FINRA. That is why, guys, system needs to be changed. So, on top of that, I want to pay attention to the tweet that was written by Scott Roth, and 20 hours ago he wrote this: "Looks like the US Supreme Court will either give us a break or go full status quo and will ensure that the PSLRA continues to prevent retail investors from going after frauds." And this tweet is not related to our case in particular, but it is quite interesting in my opinion. First of all, I want to explain you what PSLRA is. And here is the definition. It is a Private Securities Litigation Reform Act, and it was designed to limit frivolous securities lawsuits. Prior to PSLRA, plaintiffs could proceed with minimal evidence of fraud and then use pre-trial discovery to seek further proof. That set a very low barrier to initiate litigation, which encouraged the filing of a weak or entirely frivolous suits. And guys, on the one hand, it is quite a good act, but on the other hand, it is another obstacle on the way to see the resolution for retail investors. And that is why, guys, something needs to be changed. And to be honest, I don't have enough experience in this type of conclusions, but in my opinion, the changes that might happen with the Trump administration, new Donald Trump's administration, might have a huge impact on the stock market in general, and that will impact definitely the current status of MMTLP case. Let me show you a quite interesting update from Esther Pierce. She wrote the tweet 8 hours ago. Capital markets facilitate risk-taking by people seeking to improve their lives and the lives of the others. And Scott responded to this tweet. Hey Hester, I am suing FINRA, GTS and Schwab over the MMTLP fiasco in US District Court in Vermont. I just filed a motion for declaratory judgment against FINRA and extensively used your prior scholarship on how FINRA was a monopoly and a bad actor. Can we talk? DM me if you can. The case is Scott Trott versus Ari Rubinstein. You would make an excellent witness at the hearing to decide if FINRA stays or gets nuked from the orbit by Judge Race. And I have to admit that it is quite interesting question, and definitely Esther will not answer to it. But it would be quite interesting to see her involvement in this case and her suggestions how we can handle the problem. On top of that, to the same exact tweet that was written by Esther Pierce, RareDD wrote this. It's said that you can so eloquently describe the way the market should work and simultaneously ignore the investors that are suffering because it doesn't. Your words, and here's the direct speech. The capital markets work because of the countless individual decisions to take risks. Unlike more centralized sources of funding, such as banks or governments, capital markets draw on a crowd of risk takers, none of whom views the world exactly the way anyone else does. Risk takers in the capital markets include the people who invest in the companies and the people who provide liquidity to the markets, so that when someone wants to sell her stock or bond, someone else stands ready to buy it. Both sets of risk takers are essential to make markets work. As my regulatory visitor understood, a good capital markets regulator does not push risk takers out to the markets, but invites them in because they make the market function. The invitation comes in the form of sensible regulation, a stable, principles-based rule set administered impartially by a transparent, deliberative regulator. There weren't two sets of risk takers in the case of MMTLP. There was the investing public that knew their risk was limited to either holding their shares or selling them as late as December the 9th of 2022 and or December the 12th of 2022. And there were those that held MMTLP short positions and faced potential forced liquidation beginning on December the 9th. But miraculously, FINRA missed a deficiency in both MMTLP corporate actions that FINRA created, which FINRA's UPC committee used to justify U3 halting trading before forced liquidation could begin to potentially take place. Strangely, these short positions holders, including the firms represented by members of the UPC committee in charge of the U3 halt, accumulated a significant amount of short positions the days prior, almost like they knew there was no risk involved. By your own definition, the SEC and FINRA are not good capital markets regulators, because you've pushed risk takers out of the market. Esther Pierce, where is this invitation in the form of a stable, principles-based rule set administered impartially by a transparent, deliberative regulator that you speak of? So guys, definitely this Esther Pierce is contradicting to herself and to the statements that she and SEC made back in the days, but at the same time they don't want to do anything in order to solve this problem. And guys, that is why we are here.
And guys, let me tell you my personal story. I have a wife and two children aged 11 and 15, as well as a small dog. After 30 years of living in Russia near the Baikal Lake, we decided to move. Now we reside in Serbia. Although I don't own any MMTLP shares, I invest a lot of time creating daily MMTLP videos. I have been doing this every day without days off and holidays for more than 1.5 years. Now I wish to buy back this time from my family, from my children. We've agreed that I will ask the MMTLP community to support me, and I will give all the money to the children. Therefore, if you believe that I am providing useful content for you and wish to support me, you can join my Patreon account. For $5 a month, I will add your name to my list of supporters if you wish. Thank you in advance. The link you can find in the description below. So, I think that's all information that I want to provide you. If you like my video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel, and see you guys and girls next time. Bye!
I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gonna live it up on the attack. Baby, I'm bad, I just wanna get caught up in this